just depart from that and pop across to PaTMa. So this is a demo account that I've created for use today. We've got a couple of properties in here, and before we actually do the connecting to HMRC and submitting details to the Making Tax Digital systems, I just thought I'd show you how you would sort of finish off entering some of the details. So we've got some properties here, and we've connected a bank feed. So we've come into our bank feeds, and this is connected through open banking. So the system automatically downloads new bank transactions every day. And you can see for this, we've got a few transactions that have come in January that we haven't processed yet. PaTMa has automatically detected that this one is a mortgage payment for £1,400, and we can just click to say, yep, that's that expense that we were expecting to have. And this is a different mortgage account on a different property. This one's only £900. We've set this up in the system to be expected. So PaTMa has suggested the connection. We can say, yep, record that as an expense. And then this last one is a rental payment. And again, the system is set up to expect the rent from tenancies. And we know that this tenancy is this amount on this date. So we've suggested the match, and we can just click to connect that. And that's it. We've processed all our new transactions for the month, and our bank feed is now empty. And we can now go across and look at our tax. The initial page there was the original one. If you're not using Making Tax Digital, you can create your property page information for a full tax return. But in the case of Making Tax Digital, we've now got this setup process. This is not live in PaTMa at the moment. If you were to create a PaTMa account at the moment, you would just see a sort of coming soon panel on this page. But obviously from April, it will be live to everyone. And the first step is to go off to the HMRC website and register with them for Making Tax Digital. I won't go through that process because I don't have a test account to do that with, and it's a little bit long-winded. But anyway, there we are. That's the first step. Once you've told HMRC that you're going to be using Making Tax Digital, you can then connect PaTMa to your HMRC account. Now, as I said, this is a test system using HMRC's test sandbox. So these details are all made up in that system. So there's nothing secret going on here. But you put in your national insurance number and click start, and we hope that it works. There we go. We can just get rid of the cookie messages from the government site. So we've been sent across to the HMRC website now, and you can see that PaTMa has requested permission to be able to access self-assessment information for this user. We can continue this. Explains you'll need to log in to the HMRC system, and yes, we can say we log in. And again, these are all made up details, so don't worry about anything being secret here. I'm just copying and pasting these from the test system. We enter user ID and password. We sign in. Do not want to save those. And then it just asks for one final check that you actually want to give PaTMa access to your self-assessment. And we say yes. And here we are. We're now back at PaTMa, having connected PaTMa to HMRC and the Making Tax Digital system. I mentioned earlier that within PaTMa, you can have multiple landlords and you can have ownership, whether that's split between multiple people on a single property, or one landlord owning multiple properties or different bits of properties or whatever else. There's lots of different scenarios you can set up in PaTMa. So before you can actually submit numbers to HMRC, PaTMa asks you just to confirm which properties are actually yours. So in this particular account, we've got two properties, both owned by the one landlord, and we can just say, yes, this is us. This is our portfolio of properties. And there we go. So that's all in there and ready. If you had access to other landlords within the same account, so perhaps a husband and wife or something, then the first user would log in and choose their landlord, so 50% of the properties. And then you would add a second user account to the same, or sorry, a second user login, I should say, to the same PaTMa account. And then the other partner would log in and they would choose the other landlord to be their portfolio to be submitting to Making Tax Digital. So with that chosen, we can come back to the Making Tax Digital tab, And we can see that we've got a few things that are a little bit strange here, partly because we're on a test system. So that's defaulted us to a calendar quarter. We're just going to convert that back to a standard quarter, which is the more traditional, starting from, starting from the 6th of April. And you can see that we've got start of the quarter, end of the quarter, and when it's due by. These dates will actually be slightly different next tax year. So from April 2026, you get a couple of extra days, but this is what we've got for now. And we can just see that the first quarter is due and ready for us to review. So we can click on review. And here are all of our figures. So we've got a breakdown of all the rents received and a total, breakdown of the expenses in the different categories. So we can review everything, make sure it's all correct, make sure everything is as we're expecting. And assuming we're happy with all of this and all of the totals, we can just click to submit it to HMRC. And there we go. That is submitted to HMRC. You can see that's now been met. We can, if we need to, because something has changed, we can resubmit it. And we can also click to view it to see those details. Similarly, you can view a tax calculation, which is provided by HMRC. Obviously, after just one quarter, it's somewhat of an estimate, especially seeing as it's only property figures that you've submitted, but you can view it if you wish. I won't show you these now on the test system, because on the test system, the data that's returned is made up and it looks a bit weird. But in the live system, that is there, and that is all working. PaTMa does have people using Making Tax Digital in the current tax year. So what is that? 25, 26. And quarterly submissions have been submitted from PaTMa already to the live system. So this is definitely all working.